India Today is the first to bring you all the developments on the hijab controversy and all sides of it. In fact, here the visuals today speaks of a lot of a commotion that in fact carried on across different districts of Karnataka, even as the High Court verdict is yet to come. The High Court is hearing the matter, but yet we saw several institutions and students coming to loggerheads. Many of the students wanting to wear their hijab want to continue to do so, and college institutions, many of them which allowed earlier, now taking a U-turn. Here we see visuals coming from Shivamogga, from Bengaluru, in fact from Udupi, several institutions across Karnataka, Kodagu as well, where we saw unfortunate scenes of students clashing with their management to allow them to enter classes. Remember, you barely have about a week for examinations to begin, and just in the nick of time, here you have a controversy that's broken out, which at the end of it results in the students and a setback. Unfortunate scenes unfolding in several parts of Karnataka. The hijab showdown there only continuing to rage. It's keeping the students in Karnataka and of course the population here on the edge. It was now 2 days of college reopening and already you saw standoff between students and college authorities. In fact, students wearing the hijab from different colleges of Shivamogga staged a dharna outside the Deputy Commissioner's office. Many institution students came together, Muslim girls, decided they would go to the DC's office and try to get some relief from there. From Bengaluru to Belagavi, anti-hijab protests continue to rock Karnataka. These are the visuals, a telling story.
This is not rules. What they are doing there?
Nearly 2 months and counting, the hijab fire continues to burn on college campuses in Karnataka. Day 2 of colleges reopening, marked by protests, escalated emotions, a showdown and a stalemate. As many girls showed up at their colleges wearing hijabs, the college administration refused to allow them inside. Shivamogga saw an intense face-off as students from various colleges gathered at the Deputy Commissioner's office to submit a memorandum seeking permission to enter their colleges.
Basically, they're saying that allow them to enter. So what we have noticed in the morning at the DVS college when I went to Udar College, in fact, the authorities did allow the girls to wear a hijab and enter. So they're saying, if we were allowed to enter earlier, why are we not allowed now? That is one. For those colleges that did not allow earlier, now the girls, the students are saying that we have to enter with our hijab because it's an essential religious practice, or ERP. So that is the issue which is going on over here.
But we all are standing here. This is the fundamental right.
Okay.
Right to education. What kind of education we are getting?
Angry students have claimed that they were allowed to wear hijab before and are not being allowed inside their colleges now.
So I am very problem, sir, because 2 years is going to Corona.
Okay.
Sir, suddenly it's coming to hijab problem. What are you doing to me?
This all are the political games, sir. This is what we are wearing a hijab before we have from our birth to death. We will wear, sir. No, we don't care anybody.
The government, meanwhile, has maintained that tensions are peaking only in a handful of colleges and maintain it will all settle down in a day or two.
Almost 6 college students accepted that education is important, not hijab. Only in 4 colleges, they are still, say, out of 5 colleges, they are telling that hijab is more important than kitab.
The issue has become a national talking point on the back of India Today's agenda-setting newsbreak, with protests also breaking out in different parts of the country, all backing the right to wear hijab in educational institutes. Amidst this ugly and continuing hijab showdown, here's an image that we need to see more of. A reminder that this divisiveness has no place on our educational campuses. A group of girls holding hands and entering their college. A message that's echoed and touched every Indian heart.
The Karnataka government is yet to release any sort of guidelines or protocols on how campuses should function amidst the ongoing hijab storm. So education has been hit as some colleges have decided to delay exams in the light of the campus showdown. With video journalist Madhuar, Nolan Pinto for India Today in Shivamogga.
Now, the hijab controversy that kicked off in Karnataka, as expected, has had resonance in several poll-bound states. Here's what Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath had to say about the hijab controversy as he spoke exclusively to India Today, and a lot more reactions coming in on this hijab row. Let's have a listen.
With India Today's non-stop reporting and agenda-setting coverage, the hijab campus showdown has become the biggest talking point across the country. And in election season, political parties have jumped headfirst into the entire story. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has broken his silence, lashing out at the pro-hijab lobby. Speaking exclusively to India Today, Yogi contended that women never wear the hijab by choice.
व्यक्तिगत पहनावा व्यक्ति के व्यक्तिगत घर तक, बाजार तक और उसके व्यक्तिगत कार्यों तक सीमित हो सकता है। अनुशासन से संस्थाएं चलती हैं, देश संविधान से चलता है, शरीयत से नहीं चलता है। हमें ये समझना होगा।
Yogi even said that he would never impose his saffron robes on anyone, reiterating that the uniform must be maintained on campus.
मैं क्या करूं, मैं पहन रहा हूं, मेरा लिबास है, लेकिन मैं उसको अपने कार्यालय पे थोपता नहीं हूं। क्या मैं अपने कार्यालय में सबको बोलूं कि आप भगवा पहन के आओ? क्या मैं पार्टी में सबको बोल दूंगा? नहीं बोल सकता। हर एक को स्वतंत्रता होनी चाहिए और संस्था है तो संस्था का अपना अनुशासन होना चाहिए।
Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma echoed Yogi's sentiment, saying the hijab is not more important than education, drawing a sharp counter from Owaisi.
हिजाब एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूट में जाए ऐसा तो बात ही नहीं हो सकता। अभी लोगों का ये पूरा माहौल बना दिया कि शिक्षा से इम्पोर्टेंट हिजाब है।
हिजाब निकाब पहनेंगे, कॉलेज को जाएंगे, डॉक्टर भी बनेंगे और एक दिन याद रखना तुम कांड की जनता, शायद मैं जिंदा नहीं रहूंगा, तुम देखना एक दिन इस देश की प्रधानमंत्री एक बच्ची हिजाब पहन के प्रधानमंत्री बनेगी।
The AIMIM chief and Hyderabad MP went a step ahead and repeated his comment from a few days ago that a hijab-clad woman will one day become the Prime Minister of the country.
मेरा ख्वाब ये है कि एक दिन इंशाअल्लाह ताला भारत का प्रधानमंत्री एक हिजाब पहनने वाली मेरी बेटी बनेगी। जब नरेंद्र मोदी ये कहते हैं कि मैं रेलवे स्टेशन पर चाय बेचता था, तो मुझे भी हक हासिल है कि मेरी बेटी इंशाअल्लाह ताला एक दिन भारत की प्रधानमंत्री बनेगी और कोई नहीं रोक पाएगा इंशाअल्लाह ताला।
The danger of netas entering a campus debate, the usual motor mouths as expected, used the hijab showdown to spread their own divisive agenda.
हिजाब उनको पहनना है जिनको अपने घर में ही परेशानी है, उनके घर में ही वो संकट में है, उनके घर में ही वो खतरे में है, उनके घर में ही उनकी शील और मर्यादा खतरे में है, इसलिए उनको घर में भी हिजाब पहनना चाहिए और बाहर तो हिंदू समाज जहां निकलता है तो वहां पहनने की आवश्यकता नहीं है।
Politics has taken center stage, leading to polarized and vitiated debate on hijab controversy even in campuses. The students are suffering. They have exams in a matter of months. But this doesn't really bother the netas who are trying to reap political benefits out of this showdown. With camera person Prashant Bhant, Mustafa Sheikh in Udupi for India Today.
All right, I'm going to quickly cut across to our consulting editor Rajdeep Sardesai, who's currently reporting from poll-bound state of Uttar Pradesh. He's currently in Ayodhya. Rajdeep, we know the hijab controversy, as much as it snowballed, has echoed in several poll-bound states. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister himself, Yogi Adityanath, spoke up. Now there's a lot of talk and theory that this hijab row is totally linked to polls. What's your sense on this?
Well, to be honest, Shiv, the fact is the hijab row seems to echo much more in television studios than it does in the streets and gullies of Uttar Pradesh. I'm here in Ayodhya, where clearly the construction of a Ram temple is being touted as one of the big achievements of this BJP government, and therefore the politics tends to revolve around where you stand on that issue. As I've travelled across the state, I've seen various narratives being played out. The Yogi Adityanath government projecting itself as strong and tough on law and order, telling the people, look, we provided you free ration to BPL families during COVID times. Those are the kind of issues the government projects. On the other side, the opposition questioning the government's track record on providing jobs, its so-called Vikas agenda, on Mehengai, that's price rise. Those are the kind of issues that seem to resonate when you go to meet the people of the state. Hijab is much more part of the surround sound. Yes, this is a state which is sharply polarized on religious grounds, and you will see that perhaps reflecting at election time as well. And therefore, hijab becomes an opportunity for members, particularly of the ruling party and the chief minister, to target the opposition and to target, in a way, dare I say, the Muslim community and question them and suggest they are intolerant and bigoted, don't allow their women to come out of the hijab. So that's part of the government's agenda, the BJP government, Yogi government's agenda. The opposition doesn't want to play the politics of hijab because they fear that will be counterproductive and only polarize the electorate here further. So you've got Congress and Samajwadi Party spokespersons, for example, saying they will not attend any debate on the hijab row. They want to stay away from it. Akhilesh Yadav doesn't raise it at all. And you get a sense that the opposition is aware that this election for them has to be as localized as possible. The BJP would like, I think, to use hijab to consolidate their vote bank as well as question the opposition's silence. But the overall picture, as I'm giving you, is that my sense is that hijab quite simply doesn't really matter to the average person. It matters, you could argue, to some local Muslims who feel this is another attempt to demonize the community. And you've got the likes of Asaduddin Owaisi who have raised the issue. So those parties or individuals who are playing to their clear vote banks may use this issue. But by and large, I still do believe that the central narrative is very different. Law and order, free ration on one side, jobs, price rise, questioning on the so-called Vikas agenda on the other.
Right, Rajdeep, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us with those details. Now, we know that this controversy has spilled into other states as well. We saw in Rajasthan what happened today. PFI, the Popular Front of India, which is a radical Islamist group, has carried out a massive solidarity protest march. In fact, the PFI carried out the Save the Republic march while, of course, trying to condemn the hijab ban. And it was a massive protest march that was held in Rajasthan's Kota. The organization, in fact, has been accused of fueling this hijab protests by the Karnataka government. Here we're looking at BJP spokesperson Shehzad Punawala, who's taken to Twitter saying that Congress is the leader of Tukde gang, which is why the Congress state allowed for the PFI to carry out this big march. Now, as right at that protest march, PFI alleged that RSS is equivalent to terror organization ISIS in India. In fact, yesterday we saw posters of PFI promoting the same march outside a Urdu school in Karnataka, Shivamogga. And after India Today reached the spot, in fact, highlighted this poster that was on an Urdu school, the authorities took it down immediately.
Despite a plethora of charges and a long list of extremist activities that the PFI has indulged in, the Congress party continues to provide patronage and legitimacy to the Popular Front of India. कांग्रेस का हाथ हमेशा टुकड़े टुकड़े करने वाले गैंग के साथ क्यों होता है? This is not the first time that the Congress party is legitimizing such elements.
वो स्कूल जहाँ पर यूनिफॉर्म नहीं है, वो स्कूल जहाँ पर ऐसा कानून नहीं था, वहाँ पर भी रास्ते पर उतारने के लिए कहा जा रहा है। बच्चों के साथ साथ टीचरों को कौन सा यूनिफॉर्म है, कौन से कॉलेज में टीचरों को यूनिफॉर्म है, तो बच्चों के साथ अब टीचरों का भी जो बुरखा निकाल रहे हैं वहाँ पर, वो भी रास्ते पर। ये देखिए एक डिह्यूमनाइजेशन है, यानी आप इंसानी नहीं है, आपको इंसानी हुकूक ही नहीं, ये बताने का जो एक माहौल है, उसका एक असर हम देख रहे हैं।
एक बुरखा पहनने से लेके, खाने से लेके जो संवैधानिक अधिकार दिए गए हैं लोगों को, वो तमाम अधिकारों का जो सरकार हनन कर रही है, वो अपने पॉलिटिकली मिसयूज कर रही है उसका, अपने पावर का, उसके खिलाफ इस लोकतंत्र को बचाने के लिए।
मुसलमानों को किस तरीके से दबाया जा रहा है, और हमारा जो हक हिजाब है इस्लाम में हमें इसका वो बताया गया है, उस पर हमारे पाबंदी लगाई गई है। हम इसमें इतना अपने आप को फ्रीडम मानते हैं अपने आप को, तो इसको दबाया जा रहा है। और हम हर क्षेत्र में, मुस्लिम हर क्षेत्र में आगे हिजाब को एक तरीके से ये माना जाता है कि ये इनको ना इस तरीके से रहेंगे तो ये काम कर कैसे पाएंगे। नहीं, अभी हिजाब में औरतें प्लेन तक चला रही है, तो कितना कुछ कर पाती है। तो हम यानी बहुत सेफ्टी यानी अच्छा फील करते हैं हिजाब को लेके।
All right, let me quickly cut across to our spokespersons of the BJP. We have Charuk Pragya joining us for a little perspective on that. We also have Syed Abbas, who is a political analyst. The Congress has refused to join us. In fact, we did approach them, but they have not sent anyone to speak or represent, not willing to speak on this matter. But nonetheless, we saw a massive PFI march in Rajasthan's Kota, almost giving them ground and letting them grow in a place like Rajasthan, a Congress-ruled state, which the PFI has been largely blamed for trying and instigating this protest to make it a large-scale movement in India, which eventually the outcome is that innocent children are losing out on education, unfortunately. Charuk Pragya, thank you very much for speaking to us. Your take on PFI being allowed a massive march in Rajasthan's Kota under the Congress government. How do you look at this?
Nabila, PFI is an outfit which has been designated to a terror outfit, an extremist outfit, spreading hate in our country by NIA, by our National Investigation Agency. So for any state government to allow them a free run, to allow them a ground to multiply and blossom, I think it goes against the ethics of being Indian. You are supposed to be putting down people who are spreading extremism. And you know, it's not just PFI in Kota today. The entire hijab row that was blown out of proportion in Karnataka was supported by CFI, the Campus Front of India, which is the student wing of PFI. In the past also, we've seen many states have banned this outfit, and here we have Congress, which is so desperate for minority votes that they don't care about what's good for the country in the future.
Which state has banned PFI?
Uttar Pradesh has banned PFI. I can give you a whole list of states that's banned PFI. In any case, when NIA says that this particular
please give me the list of states that have banned PFI, Charu.
Well,
because we've heard the BJP extensively speak about how this is a hate organization. The NIA has been, of course, they've called this organization as an outfit that is radical Islamist, and that could be dangerous. But then, as much as we've heard the BJP sing a chorus that the PFI is dangerous, there has not been a formal ban, and you've been in power for 7 years. Why not outrightly ban it? Why allow it to grow to such an extent?
So currently it is in the process of banning. The Supreme Court has told this. There is a case which is there since April 2021. Kerala has upheld the ban because Kerala High Court, the ban was challenged. It's banned in the state of Kerala as well. So it's not just Uttar Pradesh, it's even states like Kerala which have decided.
It's not banned in the state of Kerala, Charu.
No, I am checking that and telling you that, Nabila.
That is certainly something that the NIA has highlighted, that they are a radical Islamic outfit. But the point is, the BJP has allowed them to thrive. They've given them room to thrive for so many years, 7 years that you've been in power. Why not ban them entirely? Are you using them to assert your views?
No, absolutely not. And I told you, the central government is in the process of banning it. And then because there is a case which is still pending in the Supreme Court, we are working on that. And because you said it's not banned in Kerala, let me tell you, the ban, when it was challenged in the Kerala High Court, the intelligence wing of Kerala Police informed the High Court that PFI is the new face of banned Islamist group, students, Islamic movement, etc. So it's a SIMI organization, SIMI arm, and Kerala has banned it. So it's not just Uttar Pradesh. So what I'm saying now is a group which is known to be extremist, which is known to spread hate, is being allowed ground to grow and spread its wings in Rajasthan by the Congress government. And I tell you why this is there. This is there because Congress is so marginalized in Indian politics that it will go to any desperate lengths to gather some votes.
Right, Charu, stay with us. I'm going to cut across to Syed Abbas. Abbas, the Congress refused to join us. And so long we saw nothing coming out of the Congress on the entire hijab controversy. And very cleverly, even when the matter echoed in the assembly in Karnataka, instead of actually speaking for the education of those little girls who are losing out, here was the Congress party speaking about what Ishwarappa, who's ideally anyway a controversial man who speaks and makes controversial statements, that is their core discussion in the assembly. How shameful. Not speaking of the hijab issue and about innocent girls losing out on education, here they're speaking of a saffron flag and Ishwarappa making a comment of raising the saffron flag. Really, what are the Congress's intentions? They're allowing PFI to hold such a massive march, and that almost looks like they're discrediting the innocent girls and their cause and their fight.
I truly believe, I clearly remember very vividly, in fact, when we had a last discussion with Charupragya and yourself, Nabila ji, that we must, I think the priority of the Congress here in Karnataka must and should be the hijab ban. Undoubtedly, nothing is paramount more than the education of these girls. I'm sure all of us on the panel agree on this as well. The fact of the matter is the duplicity and the hypocrisy of the Bharatiya Janata Party. They have a great problem when the Ashok Gehlot Congress government allows them to have a rally, but they don't have a problem in the PFI existing. It's not just 7 years, Nabila ji, but over the last 10 years, I hear the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party saying that once we come into the power, we are going to ban them. 2014, during many of the manifesto speeches, they said PFI, radical Islamist organization, will be banned. 2019, they parroted the same lines. Why haven't you banned? As an Indian, as a Muslim today, I challenge you and I seek and plead to you, Bharatiya Janata Party, to please go ahead and keep your promise. When the National Investigation Agency has got so many files against these
Do you think the Congress party is giving tacit support to the PFI? Do you think the Congress party, Abbas, is giving tacit support to the PFI? Because openly supporting them would mean that they're going to be upsetting their Hindu voters. We see them playing the soft Hindutva card in the poll-bound states currently. They're not outrightly supporting the PFI, but tacit support going to them, allowing them to hold such a big march in Rajasthan is a statement that the Congress party has made, undoubtedly.
That's a brilliant question that you've asked, Nabila ji. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, PFI से कांग्रेस को सिर्फ नुकसान हुआ है because PFI eats into the minority votes of the Congress. So therefore, BJP will not allow a PFI to be banned because they eat the votes of the Congress. So therefore, the existence of PFI polarizing helps the BJP and not the Congress. So therefore, PFI existence eats into the minority vote bank of the Congress. So therefore, BJP will never allow a banning of the PFI because that will hit the vote bank of any Muslim who wants to vote for Congress, because they will radicalize, they will polarize to that end. Therefore, BJP will let it exist for a longer time, because when the elections come in, the Muslim votes get divided to the PFI, to the Congress and many other minority parties. So therefore, I think the Bharatiya Janata Party must and should take a stand and go ahead and ban the PFI, not just the PFI, but the Campus Front of India and other such fringe political radical organizations which cause so much.
Campus Front of India has been openly supporting, we're looking at the Campus Front of India, which is a student wing of the PFI, openly supporting the students, the petitioners here, and they claim that they have not made any political statement and their only will and wish is to help these girls get justice under the Constitution. Now, let's leave the students aside. Just speaking on the PFI itself, where their political party wing is the SDPI, and I have with us also joining us today is Abdul Majid, the SDPI state president. In fact, I'd like to take one question to Abdul Majid as well. Majid, here we're looking at the CFI, PFI really extensively, openly backing the girls' petition in the High Court wanting to wear the hijab inside, and this is almost like a political movement where the PFI is trying to use these girls as political pawns to gain some kind of political mileage or ground in many parts of coastal Karnataka. And now with this controversy, it seems like you've managed to reach all over the country. You've really made your presence felt with this controversy. Is this a ploy?
ये जो टोटल ये हिजाब इश्यू ये गवर्नमेंट बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट स्पॉन्सर्ड इश्यू है, क्योंकि ये इश्यू स्टार्ट हुआ उडुपी का एक कॉलेज में, एक प्री यूनिवर्सिटी कॉलेज में, उसमें 6 स्टूडेंट्स हिजाब पहन कर आ लेते, एकदम उधर का प्रिंसिपल ने रुकावट किया। उसके बाद उन लोग वो जो स्टूडेंट्स प्रिंसिपल को अप्रोच किया, रिक्वेस्ट किया, उसके बाद वो लोग अलो नहीं किए, उसके बाद उनका पेरेंट्स आकर नेगोशिएशन करे, बहुत ही रिक्वेस्ट करे अलो कीजिए, उसके बाद भी वो नहीं किए। उसके बाद ये लोग कॉलेज से बाहर रखे इनको आफ्टर 15 डेज, कॉलेज का बाहर आफ्टर 15 डेज जब इन लोग बाहर रखे तब ये लोग कैंपस फ्रंट ऑफ इंडिया को अप्रोच करे। उसके बाद कैंपस फ्रंट ऑफ इंडिया का डेलीगेट्स प्रिंसिपल को अप्रोच करे, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को अप्रोच करे, रिक्वेस्ट करे कि रिजॉल्व कीजिए। एक छोटा सा मामला है, ये बच्चे कुछ यूनिफॉर्म नहीं पहनते ये नहीं बताए, ये बच्चे ये बताए कि यूनिफॉर्म का साथ जो शॉल होता है, जो स्कार्फ होता है, उसको सर पे डालने के लिए, एज ए वेल डालने के लिए अलो कीजिए। ये छोटा सा तो इश्यू, एक नया इश्यू नहीं है। इस एकेडमिक ईयर स्टार्टिंग से ही जो बच्चियां स्कार्फ पहन के जाते हैं वो जा लेकर है, ये आज का मसला नहीं है। सब मीडिया और जो बीजेपी संघ परिवार ये नैरेटिव सेट कर रहा है कि ये हिजाब का इश्यू आज शुरू हुआ।
मगर अब्दुल जी, ये लड़कियां तो खुद से लड़ सकती थी, यहाँ पर बहुत सारे एडवोकेट्स हैं, लीगल काउंसिल है, वो उनका मदद लेके लड़ सकती थी। क्या आप उनका एडवांटेज ले रहे हो? क्या आपके पॉलिटिकल मूवमेंट को बढ़ाने के लिए आप उनका एडवांटेज ले रहे हो? यही बात हो रही है।
क्या एडवांटेज क्यों ले रहे? देखिए, इसमें कोई भी लोग एडवांटेज लेने का, डिसएडवांटेज लेने का नहीं है। ये बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट स्पॉन्सर्ड एक इश्यू है। दे हैव टू स्टॉप दिस, क्योंकि ये एक देखिए, कर्नाटक एक एजुकेशन हब है। कर्नाटक में हर कंट्री का लोग आके इधर पढ़ते हैं, हर राज्य का लोग आके पढ़ते हैं। स्पेशली ये जो कोस्टल कर्नाटक में केरला से हजारों बच्चे आके पढ़ते हैं। ऐसे एक एजुकेशन हब है, एक आईटी हब है बैंगलोर। इसका ये जो टार्निश करने के लिए जो गवर्नमेंट हरकत कर रही है, ये डैमेज गवर्नमेंट को होगा।
जी ठीक है, अब तो बहुत सारी लड़कियां पहुंच चुकी है। देर ऑल वेटिंग आउटसाइड कॉलेज इंस्टीट्यूशंस वेयर द कॉलेज इज अबाइडिंग बाय द High Court's interim order which says no hijab, no saffron shawl until the verdict is out. In the meanwhile, whoever wants to wear the hijab inside classrooms can stay outside. Don't force the educational institutions. यहाँ पर बहुत सारा confusion भी चल रहा है। ये interim order अभी जो है बहुत परेशान कर रहा है. It's confusing a lot of students and institutions at a time like this. What do you think the government should do? आपके हिसाब से क्या करना चाहिए, कैसे हैंडल करना चाहिए?
शायद आप पढ़े नहीं है कि ऑर्डर में वेरी क्लियर है। देखिए, बताता है कि we make it clear that this order is confined to such of the institution wherein the college development committees have prescribed the student dress code uniform. This is only applicable to the colleges किधर जो कॉलेज डेवलपमेंट कमेटी है और यूनिफॉर्म उधर लागू किया है, सिर्फ वो इंस्टीट्यूशन का है। मगर गवर्नमेंट आज क्या कर लेकर है, हर स्कूल कॉलेजेस में, प्राइवेट कॉलेजेस में, यहाँ तक कि जो मुस्लिम मैनेजमेंट कॉलेज है, कॉलेज स्कूल्स एंड कॉलेज है, उधर उनका हिजाब मैंडेटरी है। उनका जो यूनिफॉर्म में वो इंस्टीट्यूशन भी ये लोग का जो अथॉरिटीज हरास कर लेकर है। आप देखे हैं कैसा रोड में, रास्ते में कॉलेज को एंट्री नहीं है, रास्ते में टीचर्स को, ये स्टूडेंट को अपनी को होता है, स्कूल टीचर्स को बुर्का उतारा जाता है पब्लिक में। और उसके साथ साथ जो पेरेंट्स जो है बच्चों को स्कूल के अंदर छोड़ने जाते हैं हिजाब पहन के, उनको रिमूव किया जाता है पब्लिक में। ये पूरा मीडिया में आया है और चंद मीडिया इसको ऐसा करते। कल आप देखे हैं एक छोटी बच्ची को कवर करने के लिए कैसा हरास करते हुए गया। ये सारे, इसका जिम्मेदार कौन है? इसका जिम्मेदार गवर्नमेंट है, बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट है। दे मस्ट सॉल्व दिस प्रॉब्लम।
जी अब्दुल जी, मगर यहाँ पर जो दिख रहा है, ये स्कूल जो उडुपी का कॉलेज है, ये पहले से तो हिजाब नहीं अलाउ कर रहा था ना, मगर आप जिद कर रहे हो कि अलाउ करना ही है। अगर एक इंस्टीट्यूशन का एक नियम है तो उनको आपको पालन करना चाहिए। आप क्यों इंसिस्ट कर रहे हो? आप फोर्स कर रहे हो और यही दिख रहा है कि पीएफआई उनकी माइलेज के लिए लड़कियों को आगे डाल रहे हैं।
देखिए, सब लोग जानते हैं कि देखिए, हम सोशल डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया ऐसा बच्चों के एजुकेशन के साथ पॉलिटिक्स करने का कोई जरूरत नहीं है। हम लोग आवाम का सियासत करते हैं, हम मैच्योर सियासत करते हैं। ये गंदे सियासत सिर्फ बीजेपी करेगा, आरएसएस करेगा। ये लोग देखो, छोटा सा एक कॉलेज में इश्यू हुआ, वो इश्यू को लेकर पूरा कर्नाटक में लाखों जो सफरान सॉल्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करे आप वीडियो देखे ना, बीजेपी का लीडर्स, आरएसएस का लीडर्स, बजरंग दल लीडर्स सवाल को करते हुए आप लोग गलाटा करो, जो एबीवीपी का लोग कॉलेज को पत्थर मारे, जो इंडियन फ्लैग का पोल को चढ़ते हुए भगवा जो ये करे, मंड्या का अंदर वो बच्ची के साथ जो हरकत हुआ, पूरा दुनिया देखा है। ये बीजेपी का संघ परिवार का एक एजेंडा है, वोट पोलराइजेशन करने के लिए। सब लोग जानते हैं। ऐसा आप सुनिएगा, ऐसा चीप पॉलिटिक्स एसडीपी पहले भी नहीं करा, कभी भी नहीं करेंगे ऐसा चीप पॉलिटिक्स।
जी अब्दुल जी, आप you stay with us, Abdul ji. I'm going to take this question to Pragya. Pragya, the blame is the PFI, in fact, which carried out a massive protest march showing solidarity with these girls in Rajasthan's Kota, likened the RSS to ISIS. That's the kind of attack they've made at the RSS, saying that RSS is the hate organization, not us. This is the kind of statements that they've made in this protest march, this radical Islamist outfit. How would you look at this?
So first of all, anything which is said by an outfit which is designated extremist by the NIA itself doesn't warrant a reply from me. But what my co-panelist was saying just now, I want to clarify a few things. Point number one, there was an action which was wrongful, which was against the law in the state of Karnataka, and everything else after that is a reaction. It suits your politics to blame BJP, but that's not the truth. The truth is that some girls, on the instigation of several people, decided to get very, what word shall I use, very extremist about certain issues. In fact, they went ahead to say, hijab before kitab, padhai likhai ho ya nahi ho, hame koi farak nahi padta, hijab hum pehnenge. This kind of a mindset which is being encouraged by people. There are organizations
these girls have been following the hijab for years. Hijab before kitab is what they've known of for all their life. This is how they speak. This is how they've raised. This is what they say. Deen or dunya. Deen before dunya. That's how many conservative Muslim families are. They say it openly that it's deen before dunya. But can you liken that? Can you use that to deprive them of education? That's the question.
No, let me finish my flow of thought. So if that is the conditioning, if these little girls have been wearing a hijab since the age of 2 and 3, isn't that the very mindset that the world is trying to break out of? It's not just these girls and their families. How does it suit our country to take the girls back to that time? Because it suits certain organizations. And again, I'm saying this, the girls are being instigated.
But how does anyone have the right to take it away from them? It is their choice. If it is their choice, allow them to make a choice. They should have room to make a choice, isn't it?
They can wear what they want in their personal time. If they decide to study in an educational institution which has a designated uniform, are they above the law just because they belong to the minority? Is that what you're trying to say? So if you have a problem with the current law, go and challenge it in court. Creating anarchy like this is not the way ahead.
All right, Pragya, I'll take that question to Abbas. Abbas, if there is a mandated uniform, what is the point in pushing your religion there and saying, no, this is where I want to study, this is how I want to dress? Respect the educational organization. They have a set of guidelines, and as much as everyone has a choice, even an individual educational institution has a choice to make guidelines and set some kind of uniformity. You don't want to study there, don't study there, study elsewhere. This is what the BJP has been saying from day one. What's the fuss all about?
I think it's a very fair question asked by you, Nabila ji, and also Charu Pragya, my friend of the BJP. The fact of the matter, we are in a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. When these girls have a freedom of education, when these girls have a freedom of choice, freedom of religion and speech, why give them an option of choose hijab or kitab? Why can't these girls choose hijab and kitab? And over the several years it's been there. Also through your channel, let me bring to your podium that many of the degree colleges are also implementing the same. Let me ask them through your channel to please see the Karnataka government order of the CM Baswaraj Bommai, who has said this does not apply for the degree colleges. The degree colleges can allow the girls in the hijab. This is for only those colleges which are under the College Development Committee. Unfortunately, Nabila ji, there are various videos we are seeing, even those private institutions which were allowing are not following the protocol. My simple plead to your channel is that even to the BJP spokesperson and across, if Modi ji is watching India today, let me tell you, Modi ji, please don't give us an option when we can have both. Hijab and kitab is the way to go. And I think the party which believes Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, we must abide by it, because this is a great slogan we should put into practice. Also, as a matter of fact, I think a woman in a sari, a woman in a jeans, a woman in any attire or even a headscarf is progressive. Progressive or aggressive is all in the mind, not in what you wear.
All right, Abbas, thank you very much. Charu, again, the question still remains, as much as we see PFI growing in strength, the big question is 7 years of the BJP being in power, why is this radical Islamist outfit, which is set to spread hate, not banned as yet? Do it if you really are saying it. Let's see how that pans out. Thank you very much for joining us on that, both our panelists.